Welcome to Tony McGee's Pro Football Plus. As you know, each and every year we try to do something different. This year we're doing the one-on-one interview, so we thought it'd be great to do one with Gary Clark. Do not listen to everything that he's saying for the simple aspect. He thinks wide receivers are the best players on the team. Gary, welcome to the one-on-one section. Why do you think wide receivers are the best?
You said
think. Why do you know?
Like I have some doubt whatsoever. Everybody knows. Even ask Donna Hopkins, who's helped her with her track career, a receiver.
It was a receiver, huh? You went to Pulaski High School?
Pulaski County, get it straight.
I know it. Is that where you thought you would become a wide receiver?
Well, I was a running back, a wing back, and I think they thought I'd be a better wide receiver than I would be a running back. So by the time I moved from JV to varsity, they put me at wide receiver.
Joe Gibbs, Bobby Bedford, who brought you here?
Bobby Bedford, actually. Bobby had drafted me in the supplemental draft. I went to the USFL first, but any player that goes to the USFL, there's a supplemental draft held by the NFL, and the Redskins have my rights.
USFL, why did you go there instead of going to the NFL?
Basically, I'm the sixth pick in the draft. I knew I'd have an opportunity to play receiver and return kicks and punts, where the NFL had me touted just to return punts and kicks, and that's not a long career unless you're Brian Mitchell.
Brian Mitchell, B-Mitch. You set a record. I mean, you had a great game on a Monday night game, 241 yards, but you lost the game.
Yeah.
What do you feel about that? Was
we
that
lost
your
the
greatest game?
I think, no. We lost the game. So I don't even count it as my greatest game. I go with Atlanta because we won that football game. I still had 200 and some yards, but you can never count a game that you lost as your greatest game.
Defensive backs, which one did you hate to play against the most?
Darrell Green.
Which one did you like to beat the most?
Darrell Green.
Was Darrell really that good?
Darrell was that good, but there were so many good defensive backs. Everson Walls from the Cowboys, that was always competition. Like, it's 50-50. Deion Sanders was a great. Eric Allen from the Eagles, great defensive back. But Everson is probably my guy that I look forward to playing against every
12th
time.
round draft choice that came in and really made his
straight up a
I
ball,
mean, he really just balled.
Yes, he could.
Let me ask you, you were the benchmark at one time. When they talk about receivers, you had at least 50 catches a year for 10 years. Now you're telling me that wide receivers are expected to do that?
Well, you may catch 50 balls by your 8th game by now, you know. I mean, the league passes the ball a lot more now than they did when I played. But it used to be the benchmark, you know. It's the only thing that I beat Jerry Rice in, quite honestly. I was the first one to get to 10. I think Jerry got to 9. He didn't get to 10, though.
A lot of people look at Jerry Rice, they feel like he was the individual, was the greatest receiver ever during that era. But they do not realize during that time, you had as many catches and yardage as he did.
Well, we were close in catches. We were closest in yardage, closest in catches. Touchdowns wasn't close whatsoever. He had touchdowns like a running back would have. But slowly, Jerry started to extend that. But it was great competition. Jerry Rice, then my boy from the Cowboys, Michael Irvin. We had like a competition. We're friends off the field, but we really went at each other during each season.
What was your worst loss as a player? Was it with the Washington Redskins, high school, pro?
No, Washington Redskins, Giants, '86 championship game. It probably was the worst thing that happened to me and the best thing that happened to me. It completely made me realize that don't get to a championship game and lose it. It's not worth it.
When you left the Washington Redskins, and you still, even to this day, you bleed burgundy and gold, was that a tough transition for you?
It was. I didn't want to go in the first place, you know, quite honestly. You know, man, I'm very opinionated. I think the posse was the 3 best receivers in the league at that time. And I didn't want to see that trio get broken up. And then we had another great player come into the fold, Desmond Howard. Great player, great return guy. But I think at the time, I did not want to see, I didn't want to break up me, Art, and Ricky. I felt that we were the best trio in the NFL that day and ever, quite honestly. I don't think there's ever been 3 receivers that did what we did.
A lot of people do not know this, but you left the game with 699 catches.
You sound like my dad now. You're gonna get on me about not catching 700.
Why? Why don't you go back 1 year? Catch that one pass. But what do you think about that?
Well, I think I left the game because I became a dinosaur in the game. The game had changed. Different mentality of players had came in. I'm a kind of no-nonsense guy. I believe in winning. Winning's good, losing sucks. There's no in-between for me. And what I found out in Miami, for example, that was my last year in the league. We won like our first 6 or 7, 8 games in a row. So we're on the plane, we're celebrating, as you should. We won. You should celebrate when you win football games. But then we lost like 3 or 4 in a row, 5 in a row, something like that. And there was no change on the plane. That's when I realized that the game was a different game, and I was no longer, I'd bust a blood vessel. I just could not stand to lose. And it's not okay with me. It's not something you should celebrate ever.
And that just happened overnight for you?
Pretty much. I was like, you know what, I think that, I'm a dinosaur in this game now. I'm going to kill somebody or somebody's going to kill me. That's the way I looked at it.
I'm going to throw some players out that you played with. Give me a quick remark on each of them. Art Monk.
Great receiver, Hall of Famer, maybe the best receiver along with Charlie Taylor to ever put on the burgundy and gold.
Jim Lachey.
One of the best linemen to ever put on the burgundy and gold.
Raleigh McKenzie.
Raleigh McKenzie may be the best lineman, along with Ed Simmons, that I've ever seen wear the burgundy and gold.
Because Raleigh played a lot of different positions.
Every position, center, guard, tackle. I bet he could even play tight end for a play or two.
Dave Butts.
Dave Butts, one of the best defensive linemen ever to play the game, and one of the nicest gentle giants I've ever seen. You ever seen his duck collection?
I got
very,
one.
very
He
talented,
gave me one.
very talented young man. Scary too, though.
And the only 300-pounder on that team at the time.
I'll tell you, he was scary.
Doug Williams.
Doug Williams, great quarterback, great tribute to his race. Won my first Super Bowl because of Doug Williams.
Reggie Branch.
Reggie Branch came in together as a rookie. Daha, that was his name, beside me the whole time. And he's probably one of the best special teams guys to ever play the game in the burgundy and gold.
Raven Caldwell.
Raven Caldwell, crazy. One of the best linebackers to play that we ever had, but this is a guy who went down the field with no helmet on.
Last but not least, Ricky Sanders.
My twin. Probably the best receiver out of the 3 of us, talent-wise. Ricky Sanders, there's nothing he couldn't do with the football. There's nothing he couldn't do at the receiver position. And the guy that I broke curfew with.
Thank you for your time, and we thank you for watching this. And one thing you have to realize, this man is a great wide receiver, at least he was, should be in the Hall of Fame. And one thing we want you to know, wide receivers aren't the best players on the team. We'll be right back.